the Unity 101 smartphone app today and never miss another thing on your favourite radio station. Listen to us live, interact with us in the studio, or even listen again. The Unity 101 app for smartphones. Download today. Right across the city on FM and around the world online. The South's only Asian and ethnic radio station. This is Southampton's Unity 101, your community station.
From the Sky News Centre at 3. The Home Secretary is denied copying Reform and Tory policy by hinting she'll suspend visas for countries that don't agree a migrant returns deal with the UK. Shabana Mahmood replaced Yvette Cooper in the job and says she'll go further than her predecessor in tackling small migrant boat crossings. A deal was done with France last month, a country which is facing the prospect of its fifth Prime Minister in less than 2 years. MPs in Paris are debating a no-confidence vote in France's Bayeux on public spending. But Shabana Mahmood says her policy is the future.
Countries that do not play ball, we've been talking about how we can take much more coordinated action between the Five Eyes countries. And for us, that means including possibly the cutting of visas in the future.
Elsewhere, 6 people have been killed after 2 gunmen boarded a bus on the outskirts of Jerusalem at rush hour. The 2 attackers were shot dead by police. A third suspect was later arrested. A survivor of last summer's stabbings in Southport has told an inquiry his overriding feeling was one of fear. John Hayes was injured when he tried to intervene in the attack in July 2024, which killed 3 schoolgirls, Alice De Silva Aguirre, Elsie Stancombe and BB King. His evidence has been voiced by a producer.
I wouldn't say what happened has dented my enthusiasm for life, but you can't go through something like that and not be impacted. I find it harder to enjoy things than I did previously. In some ways, my world has got a bit smaller and I feel vulnerable outside our bubble.
The man responsible is serving at least 52 years in prison. Prince Harry has laid a wreath and privately paid his respects to the late Queen at Windsor Castle. The Duke of Sussex arrived in the UK earlier today and visited the royal residence on the 3rd anniversary of her death. And if you were taking part in this year's Great North Run, you might want to check your medal. Some participants noticed the River Wear was misspelt on their medals and t-shirts. 60,000 runners took part yesterday. That's the latest. I'm Stevie Shillinglaw.
Right across the city on FM and around the world online. This is Unity 101. Tube's hyperspeed broadband allows you to download movies and dramas in seconds for just £25 a month. Get started today at toob.co.uk.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Police and Crime Commissioner's Community Hour. This programme contains phone calls and comments from members of the public and selected invited guests. And it's important to remember at all times that any views and opinions expressed are individual opinions from these people and not those on Unity 101. Educational, discussions, informative, entertaining. The Community Hour. This is Unity 101.
Welcome to the Community Hour on Unity 101 on Monday, 8th of September 2025. I'm Geeta Uppal, Senior Access and Outreach Officer at Southampton Solent University. In today's Community Hour with my guests, the topic of discussion will be around exploring all things university. Challenges, choices of university, courses and subjects, family expectations, location of university, and of course the cost of higher education. Also the process of applying to university, choice of course, support available at college and at university, and the importance of open days and research. And finally, welcoming new and current students back to university, what happens during that all-important Welcome Enrolment Week. We're joined today by Debbie House, Head of UK Student Recruitment, Admissions and Widening Participation, and Kevin Rogers, Academic Registrar, both from Southampton Solent University. You can also be part of the discussion with your questions and comments, so please contact the studio on 023 8023 5055. So I would like to welcome my guest, Debbie.
Hi, Geeta.
Kevin.
Good afternoon, Geeta. Great to be with you.
Thank you very much for both of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, which I believe is very busy at the moment for both of you, to come and join our listeners here on Unity 101. So starting straight away with you, Debbie, can you tell us about your role and what your team does at Southampton Solent University?
I certainly can, Geeta. It's lovely to be here this afternoon with you both to discuss this. So My role, I'm pleased to say, starts from the very first scouting, looking for those students that are thinking about coming to higher education. So we deal with pre-16, post-16, all the student recruitment events and all the onboarding process, including obviously events and open days, the all-important admissions team who obviously admit all of those students into the system, right up until where we're currently sat, as we are sat today, ready to welcome those students at enrolment week. And then once all those students enroll, my part of the process then passes over to my good colleague sat to the left here, Kevin.
Great. Brings me nicely over to you then, Kevin. Tell us about your role at the university and your team, what
Absolutely,
they do.
Geeta, and Debbie's stolen my link because I'm academic registrar, and my work and the work of my fabulous teams really start the moment that Debbie has finished with the enrolment and registering students into the system. So my teams will be responsible for things that you don't necessarily see. So
Yes.
the student record, the accuracy of the information behind all of that, to make sure that students have got the right connections to what they need to be connected to, whether that's our Moodle page so they can access the work and the assessments that they need to be doing. So all of that which enables them to engage in the academic is part of what we do. But then also we're more broad than that. So we cover things like examinations.
Right.
We'll cover things like our awards and our certificates, the graduation ceremonies, and I suspect many of your listeners will have seen our fabulous graduation ceremonies,
Yes.
which take place in the Guildhall and really are a tremendous week. Sometimes things don't quite go to plan in universities, so we have a complaints and appeals team as well. But really anything from the life cycle, from the moment Debbie enrolls them, they come into my team, or look after their exams and everything else, right up until graduation. So it really is a full team and a full range of activities.
Indeed. So two very, very key personnel of the university sitting right here. Without you two, it couldn't really possibly function.
I'm sure it would function very well.
Our tag team approach.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great. So coming back to you then, Debbie, you spoke about, obviously, you've got new students coming, starting university for the first time, those who are coming back for their second, third, fourth year. Welcome week and enrollment week is next week. So before that, and you mentioned about what your team does in terms of pre-16 work, working with schools and colleges and community groups. Within the work that your teams do, what are the challenges and barriers for prospective students entering higher education?
So I think we refer to it as challenges rather than barriers, because
Right.
I think all of those teams are all about breaking down those barriers, removing barriers and opening up, obviously, higher education to everybody that we come across, whether pre-16 or post-16. I think there's probably four key ones that probably stand out for myself and probably for the teams. Academic being one, so obviously the academic, those that feel that they've got insufficient, they don't get the right preparation, there's gaps in their knowledge, skills, or the entry requirements and the language barriers maybe that our international students speak. And our access and participation team and our UK student recruitment team very much work within the community, within schools and colleges, to raise awareness, working with careers advisors, provide support on finance, personal statements. Advice and guidance is very important in today's sector of making sure that those, prospect students, that whether it's pre or post 16, give one-to-one sessions.
Yes.
This is very much what my team does, and obviously outside of that, you've got UCAS, which is a wealth of knowledge for online resource that is available to providers, to learners, and obviously to applicants. And very much within the university as well, we have additional selection, we've got an IAP session, which is an interview and auditions portfolio. So we do a lot of underpinning with those students that maybe have something in there, obviously in their entry, that they don't understand. So we very much work with the community, with the students to provide it. I think outside of academic, next for me would probably be the social cultural barriers maybe that face some of our students, particularly first generation students, those that are first in family to go to higher education. Cultural, expectancy about what's expected, sense of belonging, like the sense of belonging, unsure of their place in the academic environment of higher education. And I think my team's very much through all of those offers that I've said. We Step into Success program that we offer, to taster days, open days, campus visits. It's very much about making sure that they not only are able to make the right choice, but they're able to come and experience it. And of course, I guess confidence, geographical location, all of those courses, all of those, my team are very experienced in providing the right support and advice to those students. But I guess in today's world, we cannot move away from financial and cost of living, cost of tuition fees and accommodation. And as a university, we've obviously got lots of scholarships, bursaries. We've got lots of funding advice. We have a student funding team that specialises in student funding. So I think that would be my prime 3 to 4 barriers that I would see as a challenge into education.
Great. Would you like to add to that, Kevin?
Debbie and I have both worked in higher education for many years. I think I've just crept over 20 years, and Debbie maybe a month or two longer than that. I don't know, but we are in this because of the benefits that university and higher education really brings to individuals and to communities. Research carried out earlier this year said that universities within the UK bring in £265 billion a year. Now that's a shed load of money for regions, for communities, for the good employment sector, and for relations and for partnerships. There's lots of great things there, and for every £14 that are invested, so for every £1 which is invested by the government, it gets £14 back. So universities really are a linchpin in their local communities, in their region, and nationally. But for the individual, that point around challenge, looking longer term, looking beyond that, what do we know about people that go to university and come out the other side? We know that they're likely to lead more healthy lives. We know that they're likely to be more involved in their community, and we know that they're likely to receive a higher income than those that don't attend university. So absolutely, as with anything where there is a benefit to it, there may be challenges and there may be hurdles to overcome.
Of course.
But absolutely, the rewards would be there.
Absolutely, thank you. Debbie, you mentioned finance, because that tends to be the top barrier, doesn't it?
Top barrier, yes.
And that would be something people think, I'm not quite sure if I can afford it. Can you talk a little bit, particularly in terms of widening access, and you're sort of trying to ensure that there's that social mobility, students from poorer backgrounds can access a university education, but there is a cost attached to it. Could you just talk to our listeners a little bit about how does the student funding actually work? What is the 2 main things they need to be aware of? And also you mentioned scholarships and bursaries. You can talk a little bit about those as well, please. Thank you.
It is, as you say, Geeta, I left it 4th on the list, but probably it was 1st on the list, that the financial at the moment and the cost of living is probably the biggest barrier or challenge that you come across. I mean, obviously, students that come to higher education are able to apply for a maintenance loan and a tuition fee loan, and our student funding team are there firsthand to support. We will go into schools and colleges. We will have sessions at our open days where we will talk about student finance, how to apply, the options available. We have one-to-ones, and as I said to you, we've got that resource that is UCAS. We also have, obviously, a number of bursaries. So just to touch on the financials, obviously, the student funding team, we've got like careers estranged bursaries. We've got financial support grants. We've got local bursaries, and specifically courses. We've got like social work has its own bursary. So there are lots of outside of obviously the main tuition fee grant that they can apply for, and obviously their maintenance loan. But on top of that, the university supports or tries to support for access and widening participation. We have contextual offers and a contextual offer scholarship. And just to explain what that is, I refer to it as a comfort blanket.
Right.
So a contextual offer is by no means a way of seeing that a student will come in with a lesser tariff.
Yeah.
It's a way to support students. So we identify those that maybe have had a particularly challenge in their background, in their career, maybe coming from a lower participation area. So there's lots of qualities, about sort of 20 qualities that we would look at to support students that may come into education with some of those barriers. And that would lead to what we call a lesser offer of 16 points or 32, like a 1-2 grade job.
Yeah.
What we actually find is we will make a contextual offer to a student, but actually they don't need it. So when actually those confirmation results come in, it's very, very often that actually they're not required and those students excel. It's just that comfort blanket that I refer to.
There's something about the contextual offer, isn't there, which is, you're absolutely right, the student may not need it, but they may perceive a particular challenge or circumstance that
That's
they're
right.
in as being that barrier to accessing higher education. So by just saying, actually, we can offer you a contextual offer based on what you're showing and what you're presenting, actually might just be exactly what they need just to remove that barrier and give them that spurt forward.
And that confidence. And obviously to support that, what we've got is what we call a contextual offer scholarship. And again, that is to, again, looking at the financials. What that actually provides is all of our students that actually get a contextual offer, receive a contextual offer scholarship. And that is, this year, slightly changed. We award £500 on a cash credit to what we call our Sodexo. So Sodexo is our internal caterers, if you like, for our restaurants, main outlets and shops. And those students get £500 cash credit. And that is by means of our way to make sure those students come in, when they come in at an enrolment and induction, they automatically have their £500 loaded onto their credit app. So we know that obviously they will be fed, watered. The all-important thing of that settling in those first couple of weeks, it can be the biggest challenge for anybody leaving home or staying at home and coming into university. That credit gives them the stability of knowing, okay, I'm hungry or I need to go and get something to eat. As I said, it can be in our restaurants or it can be in any of our shops. Those credits can be used across. So that's just an example of one means that we are using to try to support those contextual offers that are coming in.
Indeed. And then in terms of other bursaries, could you talk a little bit about, perhaps for our listeners who are from the Asian minority ethnic backgrounds, any specific thing for students of colour that you offer?
So we do. So we offer, at the moment, it's called our BAME scholarship, which is Black, Asian and Minority Ethnic Scholarship. And again, that can be assessed automatically on application when it comes in from UCAS or direct, or we have via our website a self-declaration form. So what we very much try to do is open up that it's not a barrier. It's not something that you mustn't declare. So we are trying more efficiently to open up those barriers by people thinking that it's a barrier to entry or I'm disadvantaged. And that's £1,000 they award to those students. And similar to the contextual, it's offered as part of a Sodexo credit, cash credit. So it's as I said, it's that declaration on that initial UCAS form. What we say is, please don't be embarrassed or ashamed to think that you cannot declare any of those qualities as part of your education. Actually, we encourage people to declare those so that we can help and we can support as soon as they arrive at the university. And for those that have applied and perhaps would have missed that, we do have a self-declaration form on our website that at any point in your next journey, the journey of you come in, that you can declare it. And we will have our trained advisors in all of our Welcome Week activities to encourage students to declare all of these qualities so that we can actually help and support the means that we've got to those students.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So you've really very succinctly sort of spoken about the challenges, spoken about what you're doing to address them, and really encouraging students from all backgrounds, looking at their context, ensuring that they access the support that they need.
Absolutely.
Which is really, really key. And in a way, you've sort of answered my next question, so I'm going to move on to...
That's always a good thing, Geeta, if I've done that.
You've done that.
Done that.
So coming over to you then, Kevin, can you comment from your teaching days about the sort of accepted qualifications? And Debbie, you're in admissions, so I think maybe not so much, but over the years, A levels were the golden route. And, we're talking about widening access. We're talking about students coming from all backgrounds. So you're looking at diverse range of qualifications that are accepted as a university entry. So first to you, Kevin, from an academic point of view, how can we break down that misconception? That could again be a barrier, thinking I don't have A levels, I can't go to university.
Absolutely, and you're right. A levels were perceived as the gold standard. A levels were perceived as the route to university. But
yes.
You only need to look very quickly on the UCAS website, and UCAS are responsible for university admission in the UK at the types of qualifications which are accepted. And yes, it's A levels, but it's BTECs, it's access qualifications, it's a whole suite of qualifications which are there and act as that stepping stone for people that want to go into university. And it may be as well that people maybe didn't do a level or equivalent qualification, have that as a qualification background, but there is a route in where you can look at perhaps work experience that you've done over a number of years, or the background that you bring that may make you eligible for joining a university and commencing a university course.
Right, brilliant. And then over to you, Debbie, in terms of, can you talk to somebody who might be thinking about applying for 2026 and thinking, I haven't got A levels, what other qualifications? Can you explain the difference between the number of qualifications, the type of qualifications that you will accept at Solent?
Just a pun there, it's not too late for 2025.
Oh,
still open.
I'm glad you put it.
I need to put that one in there. Clearing is still very much open and alive, and if you're a local student, drop in, give us a call, and we will be happy to help. But just to cover that, yes, Geeta, there are over 500 vocational qualifications. And I say 500 because it is 500 plus.
Yes.
That as a university we will accept. And I think yes, there's A levels, there's BTEC, and you get tariff.
Yes.
For sure. But there are so many more qualifications out there that the university we will accept. So we will assess. So we will do our own assessment. We have. The majority of our students will be a mix of vocational quals versus the academic A-level BTEC, and that is very much how we recognise like sports leaders awards, First in Sport awards, Lambda, which is to do with obviously all of the art studios, Rock School, UAL. These are just a few examples, and very much the work experience route is a thing with Solent.
Yes.
I say that because we will look at every qualification that you take, whether it's a practitioner course, whether it's a work experience course. We will take all of those into consideration with your application, with your personal statement, to see if we can actually offer you a pathway to HE. As we said, there are so many different options outside of just the generic degree. And I know that we'll probably touch on those with apprenticeships or foundation courses, foundation degrees.
And you use the word pathway is absolutely right. It's not a one-size-fits-all model.
Absolutely
This
not.
is the only way you can access university. There are multiple different routes in.
Some of our very highly successful students that go on to achieve and become sports athletes, for example, have not come in through the standard academic route. And I think that's very important to say, that you don't have to be academic to actually be able to achieve, accomplish and succeed.
Indeed, yeah. So just picking up on that point particularly, because you accept a range of qualifications. You mentioned work experience quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So then is university just for 18-year-olds? So, can you sort of talk a little bit about, you touched upon apprenticeship. We've got sort of, students who will be in employment and be looking to sort of upskill, etc. So can we have that again, looking for mature students? Who would like to go first?
I will let Kevin touch on apprenticeships,
If I
because I know
start
he's
with
got a bit of a
apprenticeships,
passion
because
there.
Apprenticeships really are a fantastic thing, and they've really come on board really over the last decade. So a completely different funding model, first of all. But one of the things that we've really invested in at Solent is our apprenticeship suite of courses that we've got. Now, a number of our courses are attached to an academic qualification. So
Yes.
you can study an apprenticeship standard and get a degree or a postgraduate award at the end. But we've also launched what we call Solent Skills,
Yes.
which is a suite of apprenticeship standards which you can join any month of the year. So we have monthly intakes in a range of different areas, business and in sports and in marketing and in data and digital tech, biomedical science, a range of different courses that we've got available, whereby for these ones which are the sort of the apprenticeship standards under Solent Skills, you can join any month that you want, and you can study normally over the course of a year alongside your employment. Now, this funding is different
Yes.
very quickly in that employers who reach a particular level or a particular amount pay into what is known as a levy, which they need to reinvest back into their staff, and the apprenticeship model is a way of reinvesting back into their staff and making use of that levy, so that people can do the apprenticeships, and it would be funded for them
Yes.
by this particular levy. So we've got a range of different apprenticeships available for all ages. Going back to your point right at the outset of this question, Geeta,
Yes.
university is absolutely not just for 18-year-olds. I've taught students from 18 up to their 60s and their 70s in my
Yes.
academic world before I started this particular role. And they all bring something different and all bring something really special to the table. So if apprenticeships are of interest, whether you are somebody looking at doing an apprenticeship
Yes.
or an employer saying, I wouldn't mind using some of this
Levy,
levy money
yeah.
that we're having to invest, we can't really do anything with it, we're not quite sure what we need to do with it. If you contact Solent and speak to the apprenticeship team, they'll be able to guide you on the types of things that we could support that would help employers really support their staff to excel and make that business and make that organisation even more profitable. There's that point I made right at the
Yes, of
outset
course.
around the impact that universities have on the region and the community.
Indeed. And so, Debbie, in terms of mature students, apprenticeships is one thing we sort of spoke about. You're in employment, and employers have to use up their levy, and they can reinvest that into their staff development. What about the number of courses that, mature students are welcome to? Any type of course, I take it?
All of our courses are open to everyone.
Right.
So they're not stipulated that, obviously there is a course entry that
Yes.
is published on our website, but we do encourage anybody to make contact. We have a lot of mature students that come through.
Yes.
Our community is growing for mature students, so they actually may have really good relevant experience in maybe film studies or sound or media, and actually want to follow up and support with the academic entry requirements that is required. Postgraduate courses.
Yes.
You don't necessarily need a full undergraduate degree to come on our postgraduate courses.
Yes.
We have a number of transitional sort of academic courses that in postgraduate, like project management.
Yes.
We've got a lot of professional courses as well. So a lot of students will just want to come to do the professional courses. Maritime. Our example is maritime. Our maritime education centre, our suite, is phenomenal, and there are endless amount of courses that you can do on a professional short course provision. So, and I say with our foundation years, it's been one of my pleasures to meet three young ladies who are, mature ladies that are coming hopefully in September, who have been in the, shall we say, nursing profession, but they're coming back on a total different change of course, to change their profession,
Yes.
to come in because they're really into sport and looking in health a different way. And that for me is just shows how much our message is getting out there, that actually it's okay to have a change of career or a change of passion, and you can come back in and do that.
And I'm just reflecting on my law academic days.
Yes.
I was a law academic for a number of years, and if I think back to probably the best students I've had.
Yes.
One came into law quite late into the first year, having wanted to go down a completely different route initially, and this person's doing fabulously well and has gone on to become a trainee solicitor, and I have no doubt they will just excel. And another person I'm thinking about was a mature student, started their law degree in their late 20s, blitzed the law degree, did phenomenally well, and again they got the training contract and working at a top law firm. So it really is that point around barriers, Geeta, that if you perceive there to be a barrier,
yes,
I think my plea would be just get in touch with the university, speak to Debbie and Debbie's colleagues about this is what I'm bringing to the table.
Yes.
What is a route forward? Because there will always be a route forward.
Of course, yeah.
And I think just to touch on that, I just want to add that obviously we're in a period of clearing at the moment, as I said, and I know I've mentioned clearing again, but there are still students out there that may have, we know, I say bombed out, that's the wrong word,
Sure.
but have not succeeded and think that there's
Or
no...
think they haven't succeeded.
Think they haven't succeeded,
Yes.
and that it's the end of the world. These are students as well that, we have our foundation years, and I say this with a passion with our foundation years. Our foundation year is an extra year linked on to a 3-year degree. We have quite a lot of students come through our foundation year that succeed and go on, and it's just something to remember that there is no end, as Kevin said. If you're out there still now,
Yes.
thinking I didn't make it, I didn't do my A levels, I didn't do my BDEX, there was mitigation, reach out. Because there is, our foundations are there for you as students to succeed and carry on with your academia.
You two are on fire because you keep answering my questions before I even ask them.
No.
Have to come up with some more questions,
I
Geeta.
know,
The
I'm
pressure's
going to
on. The
have to-
pressure's
I know,
on.
the pressure is on, definitely, because you'd already answered my next question.
Uh-oh.
So let's go on to coming back to you, Debbie, then.
Uh-oh.
There's lots of wonderful guidance and advice is out there. But let's say, you're at that stage now, you're thinking about considering university as a very serious option. What kind of pre-application support is available from your team to prospective students?
So we have pre-16 and post-16 advice. We have experts in the field with level 6 qualifications in AIG. We have what we call our Step into Success program, which kind of links to our pre-16, post-16. And this team, alongside the UK Student Recruitment team, will go out to colleges, schools and colleges. They'll provide careers, one-to-one sessions, group sessions, sessions on personal statements, sessions on support and finance. They will provide you with as much as guidance and support as you could possibly wish for, and I would challenge any college to take us forward on that one. But they will work with schools and colleges and in the community to make sure that they are aware of the next steps of what you need to do, whether it's that first initial scoping. What I would say is start early, do your research, look at course entry requirements, choose subjects generally that you have a passion about, and take the time to look out for those support services that we've got. Come onto campus. We've got, apart from our open days, we've got one-to-one campus tours that you can book on. We've got online open days as well as the events. Make sure you come onto campus and experience what it's like to be at Solent, because I think one of the most important things is wherever you go to study, you need to feel like it's home, like it's comfortable, because that's half the battle to the next success. You will find all different types of universities, big, large, small, but that would be, as I said, the team are there to support with all of those sessions or those interviews and portfolios, like I mentioned before.
Yes, of course.
If you've got a course that is, in production, or it's film, or it's drama, There are additional selection processes that are required, as you can imagine, and we have a one-to-one sessions or group sessions with academics that will give you an idea of what you need to do, how you need to fulfill that, and we will have prep sessions that will really help to make sure that when that application comes in, you've ticked every box and you're happy with it. Obviously, schools and colleges have their own careers advisors that will help to support, but it's an additional service that we provide to all schools and colleges alongside, obviously, what they will get from their college or school.
Brilliant, thank you. And Kevin, from your experience, what sort of support then students get when they get here?
I just like to reflect back on open days, if I may, initially.
Yes.
And being in the sort of the law academics sort of region for 20 years or so.
Sorry, Kevin, can I just ask you to come a little bit closer?
The importance of open days.
Yes.
And the importance of a student coming possibly with their parents or their friends or their family, just to get a sense of what that place looks like. And my guidance to everybody would be to speak to the students, because my role as an academic at the time was really to say how wonderful it was to study law, and it genuinely was. But to meet students and to talk to students. So, for example, at Solent, within the last 6 months or so, we've set up a brand new law clinic.
Yes,
and that is our law students under the supervision of John Wettensteel from Dutton Gregory solicitors. Offering free legal advice.
Yes, they've been on the community hour.
I
as
know
well.
they've been on. There's no bad thing to mention again,
Yes.
but to offer free legal advice in the area of landlord and tenant and family law. That's a couple of times a week. But from a student point of view, and from a university point of view, what does a university offer you point of view?
Yes.
That's a student who has got real hands-on experience talking to a member of the public about a legal concern that they have, going away, researching, coming up with a solution or a way forward, and then presenting it back to that member of the public. And then at that open day where this person might turn up and say, so what's in it for you? Why should I study law here? Why should I do whatever the degree subject is here? This is our students engaging under the supervision of experts, engaging with our community and offering a benefit to our community.
Absolutely, and that shows very much a practice-led course.
Indeed, yeah.
And so you're very, real-world learning, which is really key to all the courses at Solent. So just coming then back to you, Debbie, and actually Kevin, because you taught law, so you've spoken about how the links to industry is really key. So what value does it really add?
The practice-led.
Yeah, practice-led.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we are focused as a university about being this practice-led institution. Our courses need to be engaged with the sector within which they are seeking to support and be involved with. So yes, we can teach the underpinning academic. Absolutely, we can teach the core knowledge and the information and the content that's required. But what is it that our students and our graduates really need? They really need that exposure, so that when they go into work, they can say more or less from day one, I've got a good handle on what is going on. I'm comfortable with the sector. I'm comfortable with this place of work. I know what I should be doing because my university has given me that exposure and that insight into what we should be doing. The law clinic I just referred to is a great example. Debbie's referred to maritime and so many other different courses, biomedical science, nursing, business, accountancy and finance. All of these at their heart have got to, what does this mean to study this subject and then to actually roll this out into an employment within this arena.
Absolutely. Those employability skills, that experience is absolutely key. Debbie, coming back to you, we've literally got 6 minutes left. I've still a few more questions to cover. Just coming back to you now, you said clearing is still open.
Yes.
So if you're thinking about 2025 entry, you can still get there.
You can indeed.
Okay, brilliant. So, but could you explain just a little bit about all important dates, because obviously we're into the 2026 cycle now. If you can talk a little bit about how that works.
I can. I will try in 6 minutes.
You have 2 minutes to do that. I've got a few more questions.
Okay, 2 minutes. There will always be dates and deadlines.
Yes.
So one key messaging for me is always pay attention to that all-important UCAS deadline. That primarily you will always see applications are live now.
Yes.
So applications for 2026 will be submitted to universities around about the 2nd of September. So we're already beginning to read those 2026. You will always see an early deadline of October the 15th, which tends to be for Oxford, Cambridge. And this is courses medicine, dentistry and veterinary. But the biggest one will be the 14th of January, which is known as the equal consideration deadline. And that's the one that all of our colleges will, or local schools and colleges will strive to meet. And that basically gives them an equal consideration to say that if you've got an application in with that university, so you will have 5 choices, that university will have to reply to your offers before the 31st of March. If all universities have replied to offer 31st of March, then you have to the 6th of May to make a decision of a first and insurance choice. There are later deadlines. It just depends when all of the universities reply. But the biggest one probably for the majority of the sector is the 14th of January, as it will be 2026 equal consideration deadline. And you just need to keep an eye on your UCAS hub, where it will tell you when you need to reply to all of your offers by.
Right.
But if all else fails and you accidentally miss your decline by default and get rejected, that's not the end of the road.
Right.
Just phone the university of your choice.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much for that. So that's very key. And then also, Debbie, can you talk to us about, Kevin mentioned open days. Southampton Solent has started their autumn open days?
It has indeed, and our next open day is the 27th of September. So if you haven't book.
Okay.
www.solent.ac.uk/open days. Get yourself onto our website, book yourself on, come and experience an open day firsthand.
Right.
Come and have that experience.
Brilliant. Okay, so you've heard it here. It's Saturday the 27th of September, and to book is solent.ac.uk/open-days. And it's really important to book, isn't it?
It is really important to book to make sure that we can capture all of your data and give you the best experience that you need.
Brilliant. So as we're sort of coming towards, it's Welcome Week next week. So
it is.
Debbie, so can you talk to our listeners a bit about what happens at the start of the new academic years? How can students prepare for university?
This is the exciting bit. This is all your hard work done, your offers in, you have your application. We're looking forward to seeing you week commencing the 15th for your induction and welcome. And there are 2 or 3 key parts to that day. Firstly, it's to welcome you to Solent. We do face-to-face enrolment. So on that day, you would have done a pre-registration prior to coming in. And we will bring you through, make sure everything is in order, take your picture and give you that all-importance campus card, which says you are now a fully fledged Solent student. That Welcome Week, Induction Week is packed of obviously the core academic sessions like doctor's registration, enrolment, campus card, library, IT induction, learning technologies and bystander training. So they are some of the core activities. Outside of that, we want you to have fun and engage. We've got wellbeing cafes, we've got barbecues, we've got all important freshers fair. Everybody loves a freshers fair where you come along, get your free goodie bag, all of your free tips and bars and restaurants. We've got sports massages going on this year.
I'll be there.
Ping pong, pizza, stride socialising. Even the Solent Careers has got drop-in sessions there. Managing finances, and of course wellbeing support. So first and foremost, any type of support.
Shed load of stuff that goes on. But everybody's in the same boat. Everybody is there for day one. So what's this university about then? And Welcome Week is really about connecting with your peers and connecting with your academics as well, and working on and discovering the wide range of support that's available for you as a university student at Solent.
And the clubs and societies, we can't forget those. We must say about the clubs and societies that we've got. There is an A to Z on our Student Union webpage. Please have a look, whether it's political, cultural, artistic, sport, media or faith. So many more that our Student Union will be able to get you registered in, or even to start up your own.
Excellent.
This is the whole plan.
Okay, so then quickly, a top tip from you, Kevin. If somebody is thinking about applying to university, not quite sure, just in one word, would you say to them?
Get in touch. Find out more. Don't be afraid.
Okay, and Debbie?
You stole my punchline.
I stole your punchline.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So you heard it all here. So if a new student starting university, all the very best for you for next week, for Welcome Week and enrollment. And if you're thinking about university, even to enter for 2025, it's not too late. You can come and clearing is still going on till the 20th of October.
It is.
But we would recommend apply as early as you can. If you're not sure, come to our open day on Saturday, the 27th of September. To book, www.solent.ac.uk/open-days. So thank you very much for both of you for coming on to the Community Hour this afternoon.
Geeta, thank you for having us, and a very happy birthday to you.
And I ditto a happy birthday to the hostess with the mostest. Happy birthday.
Very much. Thank you very much. And I hope our listeners today found this discussion very informative and insightful and useful. Next up is the drive time, so please tuned to Unity 101 Community Radio. Good afternoon.
Community Hour is aired live daily from Monday to Friday, always from 3 to 4 p.m. Community Hour is a flexible program, accommodating all sorts of discussions, debates, awareness about subjects and issues that affect and benefits the local community. Hosted by our volunteers, members of the public, and people from private and public voluntary sector organizations. Community Hour is not driven by party politics or religious objectives or any other propaganda, but to provide, share information and give advice, signpost listeners to professionals who would offer detailed service on a one-to-one basis. This is Unity